deliver their side of the bargain regarding that. And so some of the leaders or the members here, later I'll call on them to detail some of the things that happened there, just so you know exactly what the true story is. So at this point, I'd like to call on Prince Derek J. He was also there with us, and he will detail the gentleman that was actually a part of the police service. We'll share his pictures. We've got the pictures here as well. And who we all saw instigate the police, later joined them, and he will detail how and the manner within which they protected him and didn't want to take any action regarding him. So please, Prince.
I think you should swap your chairs.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of press. As my colleague had earlier indicated, the leadership of Arise Ghana are very law-abiding members of the Ghanaian society. And we expected to have a very peaceful demonstration, having ourselves seen many demonstrations, participated and organized many such demonstrations in the past. We have had several meetings with the police, and we are responsible for everything that happens in a demonstration that we organized. And for that reason, we were ready to give up any person who came to our demonstration, participated in our demonstration, and caused either mayhem or distraction of any sort. My colleague drew my attention to the fact that the first person who had thrown a stone at the police had been identified. Indeed, at the point of the information, the gentleman went towards where the police had stationed under the bridge. So we followed up there, and I personally invited several of the TV cameras to follow suit because I did not want it to be a banter, my word against the police. The police, as at this afternoon's meeting, had become obviously not interested in having a successful demonstration. It was obvious that they did not want to be cooperative. It was obvious that they had a predetermined agenda against the demonstration. And so I did not want us to have a he said, she said situation. The cameras were there, and I believe some of you were there. The gentleman was at the time in the midst of about 15 police officers. We drew the attention of the police that the gentleman in red is obviously not a police uniform. He was dressed as though he was a demonstrator. Is alleged to have been the first person to have thrown the first stone, and therefore, as organizers of the demonstration who are responsible for everything that happened during our demonstration, were entreating the police to arrest him. In fact, just before then, the police had arrested a couple of people for whatever reason, I don't know. We did not stop the police from arresting anybody because it's the police's responsibility to arrest anybody who they deemed to have been found foul of the law. So it came as a great shock that the police refused to arrest the gentleman and rather called for reinforcement to prevent the gentleman from being apprehended by the cameras even. In fact, your cameras were there. So you saw it. For over 15 minutes, the police were refusing. At which point, our colleagues called the regional commander and the director of operations at the headquarters. They came. Unfortunately for us, when we eventually, after about another 15 minutes, managed to enter with them, the gentleman had vanished like 77 slabs of cocaine. He was gone into thin air. We have since given the picture of the gentleman to the regional commander and the director of operations at the police headquarters. They have assured us that they are going to apprehend the gentleman. We will share his pictures with you, and we expect the gentleman to be apprehended and investigations conducted, because we wanted a very free from violence demonstration, and we entreat you to follow this to its logical conclusion. Thank you very much.
Okay. Are you ready? Okay. So, you know what?
Oh,
good is
just for those who may be curious about this, I was one of the people on the other side who were injured. The police are claiming 12 of their people were injured. Several of the demonstrators were injured too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members of the press, and good evening. Just as my other colleagues said, the police from day one showed us a bad faith because we had engaged them a month, a clear month. Actually, this demonstration was supposed to have been on the 21st and 22nd. But because of our engagement with the police, we pushed it a week later so as to be able to have it peacefully. Initially, we wanted to do this 48 hours non-stop. The police said, no, they don't have the logistics to support it during the night. So as a leadership, when we sat and we discussed it, we agreed that, okay, we will do it 2 days. The first day, we will go through the route as we agree with them from Abrasport through the Ring Road to Akwaje, then to the Jubilee House. They agreed. Their problem was not the route, their problem was the time of closing. So when we agreed that, okay, we will close at 10 p.m., they agreed initially. Then later they came back and said, oh, can you do something about it? So on the 23rd, that was the last meeting we had with the police. We had the meeting with them. They rather suggested that, okay, we should close at 8. Then we said, no problem, we will close at 8. Just for us to notice that a day before the demonstration, they have gone to court. Now they went to court, and we don't know, for some reason, they changed the route, changed the time of starting, time of closing. All right, at the end of the day, our lawyers also file our appeal and then stay of execution. This morning we met with them. They invited us. We met with them. And we tried, we said, okay, if it is Jubilee House you don't want us to go, we will not go there. Let us just, because we have already gone through everywhere to tell our people what the route are, the time of starting and everything. So we couldn't go back because the time was too close to tell them for any changes. So we sat with you that, okay, let us go through the same route. We will not go to the Jubilee House. We will just go through Akwaje to the ministry, because after all, you have already approved this route for the second day, so as to avoid anything. They said no. So then we said, okay, we will remain at the Abrasport. So that is exactly what happened. As to them throwing the tear gas and rubber bullets and all these things, I believe that it is something that they instigated, because the people who threw stones at them started from them, and we have evidence of that. So that is what we are here to. We are peaceful people. We've done everything possible to have this demonstration in a peaceful manner, but unfortunately, the party police people decided to do whatever they want to do. Thank you.
Come this way. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, before we take your questions, I would like to add something brief to what has been said already by my colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, on the 1st of June 2022, Arise Ghana, which is made up of activists from different backgrounds, all the political parties in this country, drivers' unions, civil society, the media, and so on, decided to embark on a peaceful 2-day, 48-hour non-stop demonstration. We had earlier scheduled the demonstration for the 21st and 22nd of June 2022. Even though we are enjoined by Section 1(1) of the Public Order Act of 1994 to have given the police at least 5 days notice, we decided to give the police 20 days notice so that they could make the necessary preparation to provide us security. during the demonstration. Now, you look at the statements being issued by the police and posted on their social media handles, and you can clearly see through the PR gimmicks being mounted by the police. PR gimmick intended to brand Arise Ghana as violent, citizens of this country. They describe us as rioting demonstrators and all that. No one who intends to embark on a riot will give the police 20 days notice to embark on a riot. It simply doesn't make sense. And so that should tell you that right from the outset, we knew the laws of this country, we knew our civic responsibility as a group, and we were committed to keep to that. The police, immediately we handed them that notice there and then, asked our comrade who delivered the letter, Comrade Bernard Mona, to wait for a response. Right there, they did not even allow him to leave the office. And what was the response? The response was that they were unable to provide us with 48-hour security, and that they were unable to approve the route we had proposed. What was the route? From Obra Sports Circle through the Ring Road to Akweje, and eventually to the Jubilee House for day 1. Day 2, from Ewak through to Kaiser-Ken traffic lights, through Akweje Liberation Road to ministries, and eventually to Parliament. The first day of the demonstration we proposed, in fact, initially we proposed that the demonstration should be 48 hours non-stop. So we wrote back to them and said, look, under the Public Order Act, you are given the power to do only 2 things. To request for the relocation or the postponement of a demonstration. If you have reasonable grounds, and I want to place emphasis on reasonable grounds, to believe that the demonstration, if held, can lead to violence or undermine public order and public safety, or the running of essential services. That is what Section 1(6) of the Public Order Act says. You have not given us any reasonable grounds for which reason you say that you are unable to provide us with 48-hour security. So we disagree. The top hierarchy of the police intervened, invited us to meetings with them. We had 2 meetings with them. At the first meeting, we couldn't reach any agreement on the route and the duration of the demonstration. At the second meeting, we went back there with a compromise position in the national interest. We told them that, look, we know that what you're doing is wrong. You do not have the discretion and the powers to do what you're doing. You have not given us any reasonable grounds why we cannot use the Nima Road and the frontage of the Jubilee House. We didn't say we're going to Jubilee House. We said we're going to converge at the frontage of the Jubilee House. And we said, look, this is a public space used by the public on a daily basis and has been used for several demonstrations in time past. They spoke about terrorism attacks in the sub-region. We told them there has not been any terrorism attack anywhere in Africa on the back of a demonstration. And there has not been any terrorism attack in recent time in the 9th. All the examples you cited, Togo, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, happened during the day. So your fears are far-fetched. But in the public interest and in the interest of peace, we have changed the nature of the demonstration. We won't do it as a 48-hour non-stop demonstration. Somebody says, why do you have to do 48-hour demonstration? It's because of the enormity of the problems confronting us. It's because of the hardships we are facing. Never in the history of this country have we seen, in the history of this Fourth Republic at least, have we seen inflation hovering around 27-28%. People are suffering. Never in the history of this country have we seen this naked thievery of state resources, like a Japa, like the looting of state lands and all that, and the wastage going on. And so necessity is laid on us to do something extraordinary for the extraordinary results we want. And that is why we propose a 48-hour non-stop demonstration. We had already communicated that to our members and the general public, but in the interest of peace and cooperation, we agreed and said, we will do the first day demonstration from 12, we will end at 10 p.m. Second day from 12 to 5 p.m. The police said, we don't have any problem with the second day, But for the first day, we will not agree. And you know the reasons, because we can't provide you security in the night, and the Jubilee House is a security zone. We had a second meeting with them where we presented a letter to them accepting their position that the demonstration should not drag until 10. And they actually said, look, we have written a letter to you, signed by the Director of Operations, Henry Otu. We have proposed that you close the first day of the demonstration before night falls. You insist that you will close the demonstration at 10. Can we find a median between 6 and 10? And they said, what about 8? We said, it's okay, we'll close at 8. Some people say, oh, why do you want to do a demonstration deep into the night? We need to explain that. Usually we do demonstrations in this country in the morning. Upon engagements with citizens, various communities and the groups, the drivers, the Kayais, the Okades, they told us that because of the hardships they are going through, that early morning demonstration will not help some of them and will not make it possible for them to join, even though they want to join, because they need to at least go to work, seek permission, or go to work and make something before they come. So we said we will start at 12, not in the night like Yvonne Nelson and other celebrities protested against doing so under police protection. We said we start at 12, we will move at 3, we will get to Jubilee House by 4. But because of the large size of the group and the number of speakers who will be speaking, we anticipate that the program will go deep into the night, and that is why we have made arrangement for lighting. And we want to inform you beforehand so that you are not taken unawares and you are able to provide us with security. This was the rationale. The demonstration was not supposed to take place in the night. So they agreed to the routes, and we agreed on 8 p.m. Later on, we read in the media that they had gone to court to even oppose the routes and the time they had proposed. Initially, they had proposed 6 p.m. They went to court and said they want us to close at 3 p.m. on the first day. None of us sitting here were served. It was only yesterday that I was informed by Comrade Bedan Moda that he was served. But Arise Ghana goes beyond one member. And so we were not served. We were the first respondents in the case. We were not even represented in court. It was only Comrade Bedan Moda who was represented by his lawyers. The police went to court and said they were not even ready to move the application because they needed time to respond to our affidavit in opposition to the application. You know why? Because they never intended for the demonstration to come on. They were only using the closing time as a smoke screen to scuttle our organizational plans. Thank God the court insisted on hearing the application, heard the application, and ruled that the demonstration should happen, but it should take place between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. We were not served with the order, but we took notice of it in the media. And as law-abiding citizens, we decided not to defy the orders of the court. So we advise our brother Comrade Bedan Moda, who had been served and who was present in court, to do the right thing. An order has been secured against you. Please, if you disagree, the law is still the law. What you can do is to file an appeal, and pending that appeal, file a stay of execution and serve it on the police. And that was done yesterday. Bailiffs of the courts went to the police head office to serve that process. And they went with a cover letter signed by the registrar of the courts, indicating that the processes were coming from the court. The police told the bailiff that they are under orders from above not to accept any process from any court. They didn't accept it. Well, we have not been served, and so if they refuse service, fine. It is only in Akufo-Addo's Ghana that policemen who are officers of the court and are supposed to work in conjunction with the court will refuse to accept processes from the court. So today, we started converging at Obras Post as speakers, after speakers have explained, and as you yourself have already reported, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. By 12:30 p.m., the full complement of the leadership of Arise Ghana were at Obras Post. There was a lot of tension there. And so we decided to engage the leadership of the police because they had reached out to us yesterday and this morning that they wanted to meet us. So we met with them and said, look, this NEMA rule, we use it every day. Allow us to do our peaceful demonstration. Nothing will happen. They said, no, we have a court order, so you can't use that route. Then we said, okay. But in that same thing, we also have filed a stay of execution. So you can't enforce your order. And you know that better than we do. Because you are the people and with the responsibility of enforcing the law. So why do you want to accept one thing from the courts, but undermine another process from the courts? That is unprofessional of you. No problem. We don't want to fight you. We want a peaceful demonstration. The issues affecting us, for which reason we are embarking on this demonstration, affects you, the police, as well. So can we come to a compromise? Because your routes and the end location you are proposing or imposing on us has no meaning, has it is in discord with the purpose of the demonstration. We should go to Independence Square for what? And to address who? There is nobody at the Independence Square. So who should we go to the Independence to address? Look at the size of the Independence Square. We should go there and address who? The demonstration is against the government. The head of the government or the seat of the government is the Jubilee House. Of course, ministries, because the president and his vice work with ministers. So we said we'll go to ministries the second day. And of course, parliament, who are the protectors of the public purse and have oversight over the executive. So we said, can we take out Jubilee House as a compromise? Let us use the ring road. When we get to Akweje, we will branch and go to ministries and address the protesters at ministries and bring the demonstration to a close by 4 p.m. So you want us to close at 4 p.m., we will close at 4 p.m. But we won't go to Independence Square. What is the distance between Independence Square and ministries? Let's stay at ministries. Why? Because that is where the managers of this country are. And they are the ones we are demonstrating against. And the police have already approved our going to ministries and parliament for tomorrow. So why should you have a problem with us going to ministries? They said we should allow them to make some calls. After the calls, they told us that orders from above, this one too, they won't agree to. And I said, what do you expect us to do? To go by the route you are imposing on us and go and end at Independence Square and go and talk to the empty chairs there, or what? And so if that is the case, we don't want a confrontation with you. Then we are not moving. We will stay at Obra Sport. So if you were there, I'm sure you heard me addressing the crowd. And I told them that we are for peace. We are not for violence. The police say they will not let us move, but we will also not use their route. And that we were going to stay at Obra Sport. And that is what we're doing. Whilst various speakers were delivering their speeches, we saw the police pushing young men, protesters who were gathered in front of them. And here I'm talking about the police officers who had mounted a blockade on the road, on that ring road, stretch of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. And so we tried moving closer to see what was happening. It was then that we saw the police firing tear gas. And immediately they started firing tear gas. See, the whole thing was choreographed. Immediately they started pushing them, and the guys were going back. They started firing tear gas. And then immediately we saw people throwing stones. And these people were not Arise Ghana demonstrators. These were agents provocateurs planted in our midst by the police. That is what they did. And that is why even before that incident happened, if you listen to my speech, when I first addressed the demonstrators, I said that we have information that there are policemen in Arise Ghana t-shirt among us, and they've been sent to cause trouble. I said it before it happened. And we arrest people throwing stones at you. We give them to you to arrest and detain, and you protect them and shield them from arrest. I mean, where in the world have you seen something like this happen? And even after that provocation, after meting out those brutalities to us, we were still on fast. We were not provoked. We managed to gather the people again. You heard some of us speak to them. The language was a language of peace and de-escalation. And we tried to calm nerves. And the situation was stabilized a bit. And when we managed to calm nerves and were delivering speeches, we were not done. It was just left with about 3 speakers to speak. Then we saw them driving at top speed. When you are driving your vehicle in the midst of a crowd at that top speed. What do you expect? And then they started spraying hot water on us. Some of us fell down. Our chairman, members of Arise Ghana were attacked and all that. Totally needless. So even if we were not demonstrating and we decided to stay at Circle, is Circle not a public space? What is the big deal? That in Kufuor's Ghana, you can demonstrate on the Nima Ring Road, you can't go to the Jubilee House, you can't go to ministries, you can't stay at Circle. What country are we living in? But we are not on, we are on fast by this. And we will not be cowered into silence. We have seen their threats. Our hands are clean. Our conscience is clean. We are not afraid of anything. Because we believe in the course we have chosen for ourselves. We believe in what we are doing. And today, the youth of this country showed in very clear terms that they've had enough of the intimidation. They've had enough of the human rights violation and police brutalities. They've had enough of the hardships in the hands of this tyrannical, barbaric Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. And so we will not belabor the point because the job is not yet done. We still have tomorrow. And I can inform you that that demonstration will come off as planned. Fortunately, the police have not opposed the second day of the demonstration. They've not gone to court relative to the second date of the demonstration. They have not sent any signal that they are unhappy with the route, and we don't expect them to do so. And so we've not been served with any orders prohibiting us from demonstrating tomorrow. And therefore, I would like to use this medium to invite all supporters of Arise Ghana, all Ghanaians who turned up for today's historic demonstration, not to relent, not to give up, not to give in, but to arise tomorrow morning as well and meet us at Airwalk. We gave the police 12 p.m., but we would like them to come early so that we can start early and close early. And we are going to stick to the route we communicated to them, and the route we have all agreed to for the demonstration. And it is our hope that the police will behave responsibly tomorrow. Many of the protesters have been injured. We've constituted a team. They are currently visiting them in their homes and in the hospitals and ensuring that they get the needed health care. We are also aware that some of the protesters were arrested and have been detained at Adabraka, the police headquarters, and so on. One person was arrested for telling the director of operations of the police that your uniforms are sold with our taxes. Immediately said that they arrested him. That is how ridiculous this thing is. Yet they are issuing statements playing victim and trying to create an impression that we were there to cause violence. We didn't go there with guns. We didn't go there with tear gas. We didn't go there with sticks. We didn't go there with stones. We went there with our voices. We went there in our numbers. We went there to protest against high cost of fuel. Is that a crime?